Hey y'all, it's Amber. Welcome back to my channel. Whether you're first time visitor, returning viewer, subscriber, welcome. I am happy to have you. So in honor of today's video, I have on my vacay mode shirt. Got it from Etsy. I bought it as an original like regular t-shirt, and then I cut it. I have a very short torso, so shirts just be dresses on me sometimes. But anyway, if you haven't already, go ahead and hit that subscribe button down below. Make sure you click the notification bell so that YouTube will notify you every single time that I upload a video on days like today. And with that being said, let's go ahead and get into it. So today I'm going over and walking you through my Disneyland anniversary trip. So my boyfriend and I went from March 24th through the 28th. We had a great time. So I ended up requesting a half a day of PTO off for this trip just to allow myself to finish packing, get things ready to go. But they ended up giving me the whole day off. So I took the whole day and I didn't go to work. Cannot tell you what I did, but I'm sure I just ran errands, went to Target, Ulta, all the places that I like to go before I go on a trip. So I am going to need to use my phone just to kind of remind me of like what our itinerary was and what we were planning to do. I do know this was right after the tornadoes had started hitting California. So we didn't get to do everything we wanted to do. Okay, for whatever reason, I don't seem to have my itinerary written anywhere. I'll just walk you through what I remember, and like I said, I'll show you the pictures and videos. So we caught our flights really early in the morning. I think we have just collectively decided that we are not, if we can help it, going to catch any more early morning flights, because it really does pay to just have time to wake up, get your life together before heading to the airport, as opposed to waking up, hitting the ground running at 4 o'clock in the morning. We were on the plane. The plane was vibing, y'all. I think it was one of the newer planes, so it had music, it had the dim lights, as you can see here, and it was just really a good time. So once we touched down in Los Angeles, we had a little bit of difficulty getting the rental car, and whew, that was the whole ordeal. But my boyfriend ended up paying for the rental car. We got it, we left, and we just decided to explore Los Angeles. So we ended up going to a little cute cafe called the Blue Jam Cafe after we drove around Los Angeles for a little bit. And as we were driving through, I was just telling my boyfriend, like, it really feels like really pretty. Like, I understood right away why people moved to Los Angeles. And when I went to Disneyland the first time, we took my niece, we didn't explore Los Angeles. We got on a bus and we went straight to Anaheim, which is where the Disneyland location is. So we didn't really get to explore LA, but this time was a little bit different. And so I appreciated being able to go and explore it. The food was good. The hot chocolate was okay. The atmosphere was nice. The customer service was excellent. So we really enjoyed the Blue Jam Cafe. Then we made the drive to Anaheim to check into our hotel and change, get showered, get settled in for dinner. And then we ended up driving back to LA for dinner at 71 Above. So we drove back into LA to go to 71 Above, and then on the way to get there, we had to pass through Skid Row, and it's like I knew what it was as soon as I saw it, and it is just totally indescribable. Like, my boyfriend and I just turned the music off, and we just literally drove through in silence, in amazement, and not the best way at all, but just in shock that people actually live that way. That Skid Row is actually just as bad, if not worse, than what you see or what you hear about. And just to be able to see that for ourselves as we were on our way to this bougie dinner was just really humbling for the both of us, and really made us appreciate what we have, really made us thankful for our jobs, for our income, for, you know, our ability to be able to drive and go different places. That was humbling. So we went to 71 Above and we had a great time. It was a 3-course dinner. The drinks were great. The food was great. I was a little skeptical because I'm just like, yeah, this is a little bougie for my taste. Like, babe, I don't know that this is going to be what I want to eat, but I really enjoyed it. We had a great time. I ended up overheating in a restaurant, and it caused a little commotion, and it was just like, I just, there's symptoms you get before you pass out, and I was just like, I need water, lots of water, to rehydrate myself. So the reality was, I think I was dehydrated, and I'm also very anemic. And so sometimes when I go for lengthier periods without eating, I tend to feel faint. Anyway, that's neither here nor there. So I started feeling faint in the restaurant. They brought me some water, and I was gonna attempt to go to the restroom in some red bottoms, y'all. Cute for pictures, not cute for actually walking in. I ended up making the decision not to get up because I just felt like if I got up, I was gonna hit the ground. So I ended up cooling off, coming back down and finishing out the rest of our dinner, and then we left shortly afterwards. The next day, we went to Disney California Adventure, and I was really excited about it. One, because the Disneyland property is so much smaller than the Disney World property. And as you can see from my Disney World vlogs, even though we were there for 4 or 5 days, I can't remember exactly, we didn't even go to all the parks. I knew for a fact that we were going to be able to do everything. I did not know for a fact that the day would go, y'all hear my voice going out? That the day would go so smoothly, so perfectly. Y'all, so we got up that morning. We had to return the rental car. So we took the rental car to the closest airport, which I think was like Burbank Airport, something like that. It was really small. And then we caught a lift to the park. All of this was to be done before like 8:30 in the morning. We get to the park around 8:30 or 9, something like that. I can't remember, but we ended up we got dropped off right outside of the property, and we ended up having to walk through the Disneyland property to get to the actual park. So both of the parks are like literally next door neighbors. But before you get there, you're taking the pass through the Disneyland hotels. And so we ended up taking the scenic route to get to the park. And as soon as we got there, we went to Starbucks. We saw it. My boyfriend was just like, I already know you want it, so let's just go get these cups of coffee and let's call it a day. I think he ended up getting a hot chocolate because it was kind of cool when we were there. And I just remember being really upset because I went to Disney World thinking that I was going to be nice and warm. Like, I brought all these dresses, super cute. I was trying to, let myself air out with the dresses. And it was freezing. It was freezing cold. We went to Disneyland. I was just like, all right, well, it might be cool, but at least it ain't going to be cold. It was cold. Okay? It was cold. But we prepared ourselves. So we brought layers so that we could be layered up, be nice and warm while we were in the park. So we went to Disneyland California Adventure. We got our Starbucks, and then we headed straight for the Little Mermaid ride. Sorry if I keep pausing, y'all. I'm looking to make sure that I'm getting everything, but I'm also listening for maintenance. Our air is just not blowing the way it should be blowing, and my voice is going out, and it's just a lot happening. So y'all do bear with me, and I appreciate your patience. But anywhoosie, the Little Mermaid, we rode that, and then we went to Avengers Campus where we took some pictures and just really had a great time. And then when we went there, we ended up getting on the Guardians of the Galaxy ride, which was essentially the Tower of Terror in Disney World, but they rethemed it in Disneyland. And y'all, I had been on the Tower of Terror before, but I forgot. I forgot what to expect. And beautifully enough, my boyfriend had also been to Disney World and had gotten on the Tower of Terror. So he knew what to expect as well. But it's like we got on that ride after the first drop, like all of our memories just went out the window. I remember telling him, like, my stomach is on the 60th floor, but my body is on floor 10. Like, it was intense, y'all, but it was a really good time. So after that, we decided we had some food and wine passes. So we bought those, and then we decided that we were going to just go ahead and start trying different snacks and things like that. So we took more pictures, of course, all around the park. We had the Photo Pass Memory Maker. Well, that comes with your tickets in Disneyland. I think it's pretty much like automatic. I can't remember exactly how it goes, but I'll make sure to confirm and add correct information in the description box if I can remember. But so we didn't have to pay any additional fees for it for whatever reason. In Disney World, you have to pay an additional like $200-300 for it. In my opinion, it's definitely worth it. But To each their own. So every time we saw a photographer, we were taking pictures, we were loving on each other, we were kissing, and then we decided that we were going to take like a lunch break. At this point, we had pretty much ridden everything or rode everything we wanted to ride, with the exception of the Incredicoaster. And my boyfriend was just like, listen, I don't want to do all these rides back to back to back to back, get sick, get nauseous, or whatever the case may be. So we just kind of chilled around the Pixar Pier, ate some more snacks from the Food and Wine Festival, drank some drinks, took more pictures, and then we were just like, all right, around noon, 12:30, we was just like, okay, it's time to get on the Incredicoaster. So we got on it. It was all of like a minute, y'all. I started like low-key trying to back out of it at the last minute, and my boyfriend was just like, oh no, ma'am. Oh no, ma'am. We getting on this ride. Like, you'll be fine. It's only a minute, less than a minute and a half. Like, you will survive. It will be okay. So we ended up getting on the ride. This is the picture of us from the ride. And I promise you, I was actually enjoying myself. I know I look in pain, but I was actually having a good time for the most part. And then after that, we pretty much just decided to leave the park. We had fulfilled everything we wanted to do at that point. So we left and we were good to go. We decided to take a day in between the parks just to rest, relax, get our minds right, to not feel overwhelmed and exhausted. So that Sunday, we decided that we were just going to go out to eat. We ended up going to a Cal-Mex restaurant. I can't remember what it was called, Tortilla Joe's, something like that, but it was in downtown Disney. So we went to the restaurant. We ended up eating, had a really great meal. They took our picture, and I ended up giving that picture to my mom because she said she wanted to put it on her desk at school of the two of us to remind her of her kids. So I gave her the picture as a souvenir for her, but I have the memory and the video of us. So they ended up taking our picture, and we didn't really think anything of it. I, in my mind, was thinking that it was for promotional purposes, like something that they would use for the website. But they actually take the pictures and they sell them to you. So I think the picture ended up being like $20, $30. And we were just like, y'all taxing a little bit, but okay. It's the anniversary, so we'll go for it. And then after that, like, we pretty much just chilled the rest of the day. To be perfectly honest, I couldn't tell you what we did because I don't think we did much of anything. I know for sure we packed and we walked around downtown Disney and kind of did a little shopping, but nothing too extravagant. So the next day was anniversary day, and we had decided that we were going to switch hotels ahead of time. So I just wish I would have paid attention and found the hotel first, and then we would have just stayed there the entire time. But I ended up making a last minute switch. So we were supposed to stay at the Castle Inn and Suites, and I read the reviews and I just didn't feel comfortable going to that hotel anymore. So we ended up switching to a Holiday Inn. And the Holiday Inn was cool. Like, it was clean, it was nice, it wasn't too busy. And we had a good time. We were close to the park. Like, I think it was maybe like a 10-15 minute walk, which is not bad at all. But we ended up wanting to have something a little fancier, a little more extravagant. So we ended up switching hotels. Again, I cannot for the life of me remember the name of the hotel that we switched to, but I will add that information here. The beautiful thing about this hotel is it has a park view. And it has a park view of Disney California Adventure. Now, the first time that I went, we stayed on Disneyland property in the Paradise Pier Hotel, but it's now been renamed to something else. And so we also had a park view. So I valued having a park view. So we had the park view. So we ended up having to check out of the Holiday Inn. We caught a lift to the new hotel. We checked our bag. We had them check our bags, hold our bags, because we knew as soon as we checked in, we wanted to get to the park. So we tried to check in early. No rooms were available. So they told us they would text us when it was time for us to get into our room. So we just decided, well, hey, let's just go to the park. And probably by the time we're finished with the park, or by the time we're ready to go, it'll be hopefully time for us to get into our room. So we did not wait for our anniversary to exchange gifts. We exchanged gifts the first day we got there. I got a pair of red bottoms, and I bought my boyfriend a gold chain to replace the one that he had lost. And So there was no exchanging of the gifts on our anniversary. So once we checked in, we went to the park, and maybe we went to Starbucks, maybe we didn't. I can't exactly remember. But I do remember one of the first things that we did was we started taking pictures right away. And so I think for us, neither one of us had like this set plan of like, we got to go to this ride, we got to do this, we got to do that. We have to, be here, there, everywhere. We were just kind of chilling. And so we came in and we took a picture in front of the castle. We took some pictures together and we were just like, okay, cool, this is nice. And then we decided that we were going to go ride the Haunted Mansion. It was a low wait time. That was one of the things that we actually wanted to do. So we went to go ride the Haunted Mansion. It was phenomenal. I told him like, before we got on the ride, I was just like, I like the Disneyland version of the Haunted Mansion better. And this is from me being on 3 different Haunted Mansion rides. I've been on the one in Disney World. I've been in the Haunted Mansion in Disneyland. And I've been in Phantom Manor, which is what they call it in Disneyland Paris. And my ranking system was Disneyland, Disneyland Paris, Disney World. My opinion. And so he was just kind of like a doubter. He was a skeptic a little bit. And so we got on a ride and he was just like, okay, I see what you're saying. Like, yeah, this is for sure better. So we came out the ride. We took more pictures in front of the castle and just all around the park. Loved on each other. And I'm sure we got on more rides. But to be perfectly honest, like that was 3 months ago. So I don't remember what other rides we got on. I do know that we just kind of walked around the park. And as we continued walking around, we took more pictures and we started coming out the clothes. Like it started getting warmer on our last day. I do know we left the park around maybe noon, 1 o'clock in the afternoon. We went back to the hotel. We got checked in. We went to our room and we were both kind of just like in this negative mood because it was just a whole ordeal, going from one hotel to the park to the next. And we knew right then and there, like we made the decision, like we are not doing this. We are going to pick the hotel that we want the first time and we're going to stick to it. Like we're not going to do all this extra. We're going to pick the hotel. We're going to stay there. We're not moving in between trips. We're not doing this, that, and the third, because it just really caused tension. And again, it was our anniversary. So who wants to be upset on their anniversary? So we decided that we were going to go downstairs, get a drink or two, just kind of hang out at the bar, hang out around the hotel until we were ready to figure out what we wanted to do for dinner. In my mind, I kind of wanted to stay in, but I think the boyfriend wanted to go out or vice versa, one of the two. But we went to the bar and we ended up sitting next to this older couple that was just like so cool, so chill. And so we ended up hanging out at the bar, y'all, with this couple for like, I kid you not, maybe a good 3-4 hours, just talking, laughing, having a good time. I think my boyfriend and I were at the bar maybe an hour before they got there. So, we ended up being there and then we just ordered pizza to the room and we both passed out. We didn't stay up for the fireworks. Like we were out. And then we woke up the next morning and it was time to come home. So overall, I'm really, really excited about our Disneyland trip. I would definitely want to do a few things differently when we go back to Disneyland. For one, I would want to stay on property because at the end of the day, the price difference ended up not being tremendously different than staying on property versus staying off property. And then a lot of the off property hotels have these super ridiculous holds and deposits in addition. Like I think the second hotel we ended up staying at, they had like an additional like $400 or $500 hold on my card. So for one night, I was basically paying the cost of like 2 nights hotel rooms. And I thought that was pretty ridiculous in itself. So we were just like, we're not going to get caught off guard with these expensive, outrageous resort and hotel fees. So we would stay on property. We would not switch hotels again. And really just allow ourselves, my push for us would be to like go back to the hotel, yes, rest, relax, but come back to the parks at night. Like watch the fireworks. I believe that's what we were supposed to do for our anniversary. I really wanted to go back and watch the fireworks, but we just never made it back to the park. We're doing something different for year number 2 anniversary, and I'm excited about it. We've already started talking about what our plans were going to be, and that's maybe about 9 months away. So we'll do more planning for that. We do have a spring break trip, so we're probably not going to push it like we did last year, going on back-to-back trips. So we decided that we're going to take our anniversary trip next summer. We've already picked our destination, so I'm excited about it. We'll start figuring out maybe in December more of the logistics of the trip and like where exactly we're going, if we're going to be doing a little hopping or whatnot. So thank you for staying tuned thus far. If you have any recommendations, any questions, suggestions, do let me know down in the comments below. So that was just our experience with Disneyland. Overall, we had a great time. I think this was the easiest park trip I've ever had. Like both days, it was just unbelievable how easy our park days were. The parks were not too crowded. The waits were super short. It was a great time. So with that being said, next story time, I'll be back to tell you about our Las Vegas trip.